Let them live without fear. Let them be themselves. Just 9 words. But in those 9 words lived the heartbeat of Diana's deepest hope. It wasn't a command. It wasn't a wish rooted in royal etiquette. It was a quiet revolution disguised as a mother's prayer. She wasn't asking the world to treat her sons as princes, but as people, human, flawed, free. Diana didn't want William and Harry to grow up imprisoned by the golden cage of royalty. She didn't dream of seeing them become perfect poster boys for a system that often prizes image over identity. She wanted them to hold on to something far more precious, their sense of self. For Prince William, those words must have stirred a quiet storm. His mother, who had once bent the rules to give him as normal a childhood as she could, taking him to theme parks, fast food chains, and homeless shelters, was reminding him of who he was beneath the uniform and title. A boy loved, not because he was heir to the throne, but because he was hers. For Prince Harry, the impact was even more visible. Those simple, heartfelt words seemed to echo through the biggest decisions of his life, stepping back from royal duties, leaving the UK, building a new life across the ocean. To many, it seemed like rebellion. But in Diana's words, it feels more like alignment, like he was finally living the life she would have wanted for him. One rooted not in protocol, but in peace, not in duty, but in love. Her letter, whether spoken or written, was a gift, a guide, a gentle rebellion. It didn't fight the monarchy. It simply asked that her children not lose themselves to it, that they be allowed to grow into men who laugh freely, cry openly, love fiercely, and choose their paths without fear. It wasn't a farewell wrapped in sorrow. It was a torch passed quietly from one generation to the next, not to lead a kingdom, but to light their own way. Diana's words weren't just a mother's love poured out on paper. They were a reminder that true royalty lies not in bloodlines, but in bravery, the kind that dares to be real in a world full of masks. As King Charles revealed Princess Diana's final words to their sons, many have questioned the reason why Charles kept the letter hidden for so long. Let's dive into the details behind the king's silence all the while. Secrets, surrogacy, and the weight of silence. The discovery of Princess Diana's hidden letter didn't just stir emotions. It shook the very foundations of the royal narrative. It was more than just ink on paper. It was a voice long silenced, a whisper from a mother beyond the grave. And yet, the most unsettling part wasn't just the content of the letter, but the fact that it had been kept hidden for over 2 decades. Why had this deeply personal message been locked away? Why would King Charles, the man who had once loved Diana and fathered her 2 sons, tuck away such a heartfelt plea from a mother to her children? What was so threatening about Diana's words that they couldn't see the light of day? Some palace insiders hinted at a simple but powerful reason: fear. Not fear of Diana herself, but of her truth. They say her letter held more than just emotion. It held power. Diana's plea for her son's happiness and emotional freedom could have been a threat to the monarchy's carefully controlled image. If Harry had read those words as a boy, would he have broken away from royal life even earlier? Could William, the heir to the throne, have begun to question the path laid before him? Perhaps the royal family wasn't afraid of the letter itself, but of the ripple effect it might cause if the truth came out. And just as the palace began to recover from the shock of the letter's revelation, a second discovery sent fresh tremors through the royal halls. In 2004, during quiet renovations at one of Diana's former homes, another letter was found. This one was addressed solely to Prince William, and though it was brief, its message was heart-wrenching in its raw simplicity. "One day you will be king, but promise me, you won't lose the little boy inside you." This wasn't about duty or legacy. It wasn't a royal command. It was a mother's desperate attempt to shield her son's soul from being swallowed by the weight of the crown. It was her way of reminding him to stay human, even when the world demanded he be a symbol. Yet alongside these emotional revelations, a darker and more controversial theory began to resurface. Some royal aides recalled Diana's frequent hospital visits in the early 1980s, often explained away as stress. But others hinted that, behind the scenes, there were hushed conversations about fertility issues. Could it be, some dared to wonder, that Prince Harry had been born through surrogacy?